So this is the first of my little behind the scenes, like actual behind the scenes. Like this is right now. It's November 15th. I'm working on the rooftop chase, a scene that is heavily inspired off of the opening scene in the first Matrix film by the Wachowskis. And in this scene, our main character is chasing a pig, and this was a chance, the first chance for me to do a scene with a pig that wasn't just what we've seen all along, where you have a pig that's either charging, or a pig that explodes, or a pig that's charging in one direction and then explodes. But this is an actual scene with a pig character um, that is being pursued, and so there's this back and forth like exchange of fighting and stuff like that. So as of now, this is about 2 or 3 hours of work, about 2.5 hours of work actually. I'm right now figuring out, and obviously, I'm speaking present tense, but obviously, we're way. Yeah, I can talk future tense. You're watching this, which means that you know whether or not I actually pulled this shot off or not. But um, so the stunt here involves a pig jumping, catching a rocket launcher, and then firing a rocket back while the camera's moving. So obviously this is nowhere near possible to do with actual like scripting. You can't get that fluid like motion. And so this is easily the most difficult stop motion shot that I've tackled thus far. The second you get a camera that moves, it just gets so much more challenging. Um, and so basically I lined up each camera at 24 frames a second. There's enough to do about a second, a little over a second and a half, not quite 2 seconds. But in this shot, the pig was going to jump up, catch the rocket launcher, and I think the hardest challenge that I'm dealing with right now is making sure that for each frame, the pig is the exact same distance, if not more. Making sure that basically imagine the pig has like a PVC pipe rig. Like imagine this is like a real film set, and it's a character or it's like a vehicle. We can think of this pig as a vehicle, and he has a rig on him that has a camera mounted, and so no matter where he is in space, the camera is going to be the exact same distance away from him every single frame of our shot. And so that's what I'm trying to recreate. And so the way that I started to try to tackle this is by taking each camera and I pulled out the focal point thing that you can do. I think to 14.5, yeah. So I pulled that out, and the idea is that for the pig that corresponds to this specific camera shot or camera frame, the pig cannot be the front of the pig cannot be farther along than the actual focal ring or the dot. So for this one in particular, this one's a tiny bit forward, so I'm going to move that back just a little bit. Um, and so by doing it like this enables me to um, keep a consistency and have some kind of measuring device. Um, it got a little easier right here because as I did a few of these, I'm lining up, making sure that it's just a tiny bit in front. I eventually started to realize a pattern here where the front right eye is like almost intersecting with the spot on the pig that's in front of it. So insert human centipede joke. They're basically butt sniffing each other. Um, and the other hard part of the shot is, well, he catches the rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher has to come faster, has traveling faster than the pig. And so at a certain point it comes into frame and he catches it. So how do I know which rocket launchers are in which camera shot? Well, I figured out it was going to be this one, and so I have this little chroma just as like a marker with the rocket launcher on it, saying, okay, it's this camera. So if I preview this camera, we can see the rocket coming into frame on the very left there. So then every one after that will have the like the next rocket. So that camera shot, we see that rocket launcher, and this one we'll see that one. Um, So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It only takes, it's only going to take 4 frames, so that's really fast. That's like ridiculously fast. But and so in this frame, then he catches it, and there's a little bit of like a settling period. He catches it, and then he like lowers it in a way. I might actually, it looks pretty okay. Um, yeah. The other hard part is um, when the pig fires the rocket. He then uses this rocket as like a skateboard or a sled. And the propulsion of the rocket firing sends him flying. And so from that point on, we have this this like consistency here that needs to then change. And so he all of a sudden he needs to go further away from the camera for each frame. Um, and so what I ended up doing there is, you see all these ones, like all these cameras branching off. This is, each one ties to a specific pig. But what I did was I thought, okay, so the moment that he fires, the distance from the camera to the focal point is 14.5. And so I thought, well, the first frame after he fires, or when he fires, will increase that focal point by 4. And so up to 18.5. And then for each successive frame, or after that, that number, instead of 4, it goes up by 1. So then a distance of 5, and then a distance of 6, distance of 7. Um, and so I did the math, and it goes all the way up to distance of 161.5. And so we get all the way back here. So the pig right back here would be for this shot, so we can see what this looks like. Oh, there's a forklift in the way. Like I said, like this isn't staged. This is as I'm doing it. So as I'm creating, I'll move that out of the way. Sorry, forklift. Wow, so he's still in the frame, but this piece of scenery is obstructing that. So we're gonna take that down. Oh, too much. Just lower that a little bit and lower these ones. So yeah, the whole stunt, I mean, this is just so much to factor in when doing something like this. Last night I was up pretty late planning this out and plotting things and figuring it out in my head, that is. So let's look at this. So yeah, that won't look too bad, I don't think. Actually, this is the wrong camera. Sorry. This one. So I didn't even have to move that forklift or those things. My bad. So I'll probably raise those back up again. Preview the wrong camera. And then so yeah, it's just as simple as like once I'm all ready, I preview the camera, I take a screenshot, and then I save that screenshot out. Now I was doing this with the light baked, but because it's a night scene, it's really dark, and the brightness on the capture card is significantly brighter than what it looks like on my TV when I'm working, and so it's really dark and hard to see. So I actually have these lights here. You can actually see it for whatever reason right here for whatever weird reason. What it actually looked like, but